think that's exactly what a lot of us want to do when some issue comes up. It feels very urgent, and I got to solve this and take care of this. But the reality is, we just don't do that very well. Humans are
Mhm.
emotional. When you get ramped up, you go into fight or flight mode and you want to either solve it or run away. Your brain starts functioning differently. Like we have some kind of enemy in front of us or some kind of danger. And that's normal human functioning. But the problem is if you treat your spouse as a danger or an enemy, you're not going to get very far.
Mhm.
It's normal to feel that way, but just, taking a break, walking out, calming yourself down and coming back
Mhm.
means that we can do this better. And, if you try to run headlong into fixing a problem, as all of us know, it turns into an argument and it just gets
Yes, it
worse
does.
and nobody feels better. It is definitely hard to take a break when something feels urgent, but the truth
Mhm.
is, unless there is an actual flame in the house that's burning or some blood on the floor, it is not an emergency. Strike when the iron is hot is great for getting revenge or
Yeah.
for causing pain to people. That's not what we're looking to do in a marriage.
No.
Let it cool down. It is hard. It feels like we need to do this now, but 99 times out of 100, you don't need to do it now. If he left his socks on the floor, or she forgot to pick up the dry cleaning, or dinner's late, like these are all things that we can talk about, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be done now, and it will be done much better later. You can say, I love you, I'm angry, and I don't want to talk about it. That's fine. You may have to do that. I mean, we've all had these experiences where we're angry at night, and then you try to fix it, and you're arguing for a couple hours into the night, and it doesn't get any better. And now the
Mhm.
next day is a rotten day also because you're both tired. It would be nice if we as humans could just turn that off and be very rational, like some kind of robot or something, and fix the problem. Most of us can't, right? So yeah, you go to bed and things are not at peace necessarily, and you sleep on opposite sides of the bed, and you're a little annoyed at each other. Okay, I mean, the alternative is we just keep fighting. Eh, it's not a better choice. Communication is not just about, oh, let's solve our problems. I mean, you didn't get married to solve problems. That wasn't the point. The point is to connect and be with
That's
somebody that you
right.
like and have a life together. And offering positive commentary as well. Like, you know what? There's so much good we do for each other. If all we ever do is talk about the things that are bothering us about this relationship, it's going to be a drag. But there are
Mhm.
so many things any spouse does for the other one, whether it's making the food or shopping for the groceries, getting the kids dressed, whatever it is. Like maybe, yeah, those are expectations. Maybe it's just a small thing, but every day, I don't cook very well, and I don't like cooking very much at all. And my wife makes me dinner pretty much every night, and I am so grateful every night. And every
Mm.
night, it's not hard for me to say thank you. I appreciate it because I'd be eating cereal if she wasn't doing that. And so just being able to recognize, you know what, thank you. Yeah, thank you for taking care of the kids. Thank you for driving carpool today.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
did that well, or you look nice today. I see you
Mm.
every single day. I get used to it, but you look great. Thank you. Like being able to add that positive commentary into the marriage helps an awful lot. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, the problem is if we take a break, we end up dropping it and never coming back to it. I get that.
Mhm.
If you have a system where you can talk about difficult things, it will be easier to come back to it, right? If you go through this book and you figure out, like, oh, you know what, we can use this to talk about the issue, then you can drop it and come back later.
Mhm.
But what happens if you drop and you have no way of talking about difficult things? Who wants to bring it up again? It's just going to turn into another fight. You are a different person from me. I don't live in your head. There are
Mhm.
things that you interpret that I wouldn't interpret that way. There are things that bother you that wouldn't bother me. If I run from my understanding of the world, then I'm never going to be able to connect to you because you have a different understanding of
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
I come with a mindset of, you know what, help me understand. You're mad at me. I didn't do anything. Help me understand why you're upset. Instead of, you shouldn't be upset. I didn't and you did not. It's not. Help me understand why you're so mad. And then
Mhm.
again, LOVE. I listen, oh, you're mad about this. You know what? That makes sense to me. I didn't see it that way. And that's not how I react to this kind of problem, but I see why you're mad about that. Ah, it
Mhm.
stinks. I'm sorry you feel that way. Exploring versus resolving means this: you can't solve a problem that you don't understand.
Excuse me.
And it sounds kind of obvious when we say it like that, but we all try to do that. It's like somebody comes home with an issue, like, oh, let me fix it. I'll just do this. We'll fix it like that.
Mhm.
But like
Mhm.
the problem is not that you left your socks on the floor or that you forgot to pick up the dry cleaning. That is like the superficial part of it. But really, what bothers me is that you don't take care of my needs, that I'm the one who has to take care of everything around here, that nobody listens to me, whatever it is, there's all kinds of deeper things going on. So if you say, oh, no problem, I'll go pick up my socks, you haven't really addressed the issue, which is that I'm feeling kind of all on my own here in this relationship. And so, in order to really understand what we're trying to solve, it would
Mhm.
be helpful if let's put the solution off till later. We're going to sit down and talk about what the issue is, and we're not going to try to solve the problem. We're just going to explore it so we know what it is we're solving. There are four things you can do when you are listening to your partner, and these
Mhm.
are them. One, listen. Two, reflect in
Mhm.
your own words. I had to push that one a bit with the O there. Okay, reflect in your own words. V, validate, and E, empathize. And I'll talk about what
Mhm.
those are in a minute. But those are the only four things that will help when your partner is telling you an issue, a problem, they're complaining, whether it's about you, about something else. We tend to try to fix things. Men especially want to solve the
Yeah.
problem. Solving is not one of those four. Or we try to
Mhm.
explain what's going on. You're mad at me, and if I would just explain to you why you misunderstand, then everything would be okay, right? But
Mhm.
as you all know, if you think back to the last time you tried this, it doesn't work. It doesn't help if I
Yeah.
say, no, 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 I didn't say that. I said this, and then you won't be mad at me, right? But no, it doesn't happen. They keep being mad at you. What helps? Listen, reflect in your own words, validate, empathize. Listening means I'm listening. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not trying to answer you before I
Mhm.
hear you out. And then I reflect back in my own words because I want to make sure that I understood you. If you tell me you're upset at me because I never help around the house or you don't like whatever it's going to be, I got to make sure I understand what the problem is. So I say, okay, so you're mad at me because you're working hard at home and I'm not contributing enough. Is that it?
Mhm.
So now I get a chance to make sure I get it and you also know that I get it. It doesn't help if I say, oh, I understand the problem because maybe I do and maybe I don't. But let's verify,
Mhm.
let's make sure that I get it. And then I validate that. I say, you know what? That makes sense. You're working really hard. And of course, it would be frustrating if you're working hard and you don't see that I'm working hard. Now, notice I'm not agreeing with you. I may think I work
Right.
real hard at
I
home,
see.
right? Agreeing is
Mhm.
not on the list either. I may disagree with you, but when I'm listening to you, I'm just going to validate, you know what? I get where you're coming from. Whether I agree or not,
Mhm.
I understand why that's a problem for you. And I empathize. You know what? That must be so hard. I see you work so hard at home. You're always with the kids, you're always managing something. It must be really hard to work that hard and not feel like you're getting supported. I haven't agreed
Oh,
to
yeah.
anything. Yeah, I haven't taken any guilt or responsibility,
No.
but I care about you. You know that I get the problem, that I
Mhm.
understand it, and that I care about the problem. Now we can work towards a solution. Before that, it will not go very far.